Hey, I'm Keeley. I'm a cuddle therapist, and this is my fourth video on some of my vetting questions I ask when I have a new client. One thing I ask is, when you picture cuddling, what does that look like to you? Because y'all, cuddling looks like different things to different people. And that's awesome! For one person, it might look like cuddling on the couch while watching a movie. For another person, it might look like me holding them. Some people want to picture foot rubs, or head scritches, or back scritches. Some people picture full body contact, and other people picture sitting side by side with a head on a shoulder. This question allows me to figure out what that person wants. How do they define cuddling? Because there's almost no wrong way to define cuddling. This also gives me insight into what kind of language this person has around how to describe touch. Comment what insight you think you could get from this question and like for part 5. Hey, I'm Keeley. I'm a cuddle therapist. This is part 5 of the vetting questions I ask when I have a new client. I often ask whether or not they're looking for personal growth or to learn new skills and tools, or if they just want to use the time to feel good and get stress relief and not really take anything with them when they leave. In my practice, there's the option of just cuddling because it feels good, but there's a lot more options too. I can teach you different tools to help incorporate touch in your life, improve relationships, get you better practice at boundaries and consent. You can work on embodiment and processing trauma. You can work through grief, explore new ways to feel empowered. Because there's such a wide variety, I need to find some way to narrow the scope so it matches what that person wants. As a practitioner, this also really helps to tell me if this is a client I'm going to jive with and want to work with. If I have a full client book, this might tell me whether or not I'm going to take that client. Like for part 6. Hi, I'm Keeley. I'm a cuddle therapist, and this is my 5th video on vetting questions I ask for a new client. One of the things I ask is if anyone has any illnesses or if they have any accessibility needs. The accessibility needs question is really great. For instance, if someone has a mobility restriction, I can waive my travel fee so that my services are actually accessible to them. I'll often have to modify things in the environment based on, for instance, if I have clients on the autism spectrum, I'm making sure no intense scents or sounds. I might dim lights based on their sensory processing. I can also hire an interpreter, anything like that that might make their access to me a little bit easier. And then illnesses question is for, one, if it's communicable, should I know that, and how do we just keep ourselves safe during that? But also, if it's an illness or a disability of some sort, I want to make sure that I'm as prepared as I can possibly be to meet their needs. It gives me a lot of good insight. Hi, I'm Keeley. I'm a cuddle therapist. This is my 7th video and the last in my vetting questions for new clients series. I can tell so much about a person from this question, so I'm going to try to fit it all in 60 seconds. The question is, what boundaries do you have around cuddling? Sometimes I'll get a deer in headlights look at this, and I try to offer so for instance, is there a part of your body that you don't want me to touch for sure, like feet or hair? Or is there a type of touch that you just don't like tickling? That gives them a little bit of a framework to know what I'm asking. If they do have boundaries, then we can move from there. That's going to be really rich information for me to have. Oftentimes they say, I have no boundaries, let's get to cuddling. And that's really important information for me to know. Because if they say that, we actually have to go a little slower. Because everyone has boundaries. Sometimes it's just hard for us to communicate them. Or some boundaries are assumed, like, you don't want me to punch you in the face. That's an assumed boundary, but we still have to learn how to vocalize them. And we actually can't cuddle unless we're both clear on what our boundaries are. Like and comment if you want to